What would you say is your filmmaking style?
I think the kind of films that I love to watch, and therefore are the films that kind of I seek to make, are kind of, you know, very, very indie, very raw, very rugged, kind of, you know, rough around the edges, but films that have their heart in the right place. I think definitely that's the kind of filmmaking that I gravitate towards, and filmmakers who take risks, like big risks, are the ones that, you know, I look up to and want to emulate.
So even growing up, you weren't maybe drawn as much toward the blockbusters as some of these raw. I would do the same thing. I would look for these raw, gritty, like indie films that you sometimes even saw the boom mic hanging down, just because the story, there was something.
Because that's the thing. It's like, I think that you know, again, I guess just to go back to kids, because I mentioned it before, it's like I distinctly remember like a section in Kids where it's the two male protagonists, they're talking on a subway train, and one of them like blocks the other, and technically speaking that would be wrong. Like, oh no, we nixed this camera angle, but the camera just like sits there and it waits for him to just lean back. And it's things like that you feel that it's not really about what's right in a film or what's technically correct. It's about the story. And that's always the thing that is going to make you keep coming back to a film, is the story, because it's so good, it's so engaging. And I mean, come on, let's face it. I mean, there are quite a few blockbusters that you watch and you think, how on earth did this script get greenlit? Like how much love went into this script? I'm wondering how much love went into it. Whereas like you watch a film like Fish Tank, again, because Andrea Arnold is one of my absolute favorites, or Moonlight. How much passion went into that script? You know that it did. You can't question it. It's there to see, to feel. And that's sometimes my issue with big blockbuster films, is I wonder just how much heart is really in them.
And also it feels like with a lot of indie films, the writer-directors are okay with having a question at the end where it's not in a pretty box. And I think there's something nice about that, because that's what life is. I mean,
yeah,
we don't know.
I mean, to say something very dark and very Greek, the only pretty box you can expect at the end of life is a coffin, right? Let's face it.
Very true, yeah.
Right?
Right, okay, that makes sense. But yeah, I mean, and I think that is the problem that either people have against indie films or for them, is that the ending isn't always, you know, there's a question at the end, and I like that. I'd rather have a question rather than know exactly. How does instinct factor into filmmaking?
I think especially for a director, it's really crucial, really critical, because I think, you know, sometimes on set you have to be able to look at a performance and know, is this going to work? Is it not going to work? Because I think sometimes you're not really sure if anything's going to work 100%. So all you've got is your gut. And I think especially, you know, I like when I'm asked, oh, you know, what would you tell like young filmmakers? I always say that you've got to trust your instincts, because even if you get it wrong, it doesn't matter. You'll make a better film next time around, and you learn so much more from failure than you do from success. So just don't be afraid and don't make any excuses.
And did that instinct go into casting for your first feature?
For sure, and I think especially, I mean, I want to say, especially with non-actors, you have to be able to see something in them that maybe they don't necessarily see themselves.
Right. And how was that for you to try, not maybe convince, but encourage in some of these actors that maybe they weren't, I don't know, did they take dramatic arts, or you saw something in them and just knew it, and in showing that in them?
I mean, I think that most of them were really beginners, first-timers. I'm not too sure if they had done any like little sketches in class or anything like that. I can't speak to that, but I think that in terms of like being on camera, they didn't really have any experience at all. But you know, I mean, I was reading an interview the other day that Sophia Loren gave. And she was saying that, you know, even in all her years as a professional actress and as a star, it's the thing that she wants most of all from a director is trust. And kind of, you know, I think she was saying this about Vittorio De Sica, that he had more faith in me than I had in myself. And that was so important to me as an actress. So I think that's what, you know, when you make your casting choices, if you really believe in an actor or an actress, that's what you got to make them feel, is that I trust you 100%. I've got you. You can do this. So let's go. Yeah.